Hi, my name is Kristin Kaufman. Welcome. I'm so glad that you've joined us this morning. I'm actually in the business now of helping people create the lives they want without giving up the creature comforts that they want. Many of you all who have followed me over the last number of years know that I'm a recovering corporate leader turned portfolio entrepreneur. And one of the companies that I lead is a company by the name of Alignment, which is all about helping people find alignment within themselves, within the groups in which they work, teams or group, loosely coupled groups, organizations, and ultimately organizations and businesses to their constituents or their markets. So coming back down to alignment within themselves and the team, today I wanted to talk about the number one trait from my perspective or attribute on a team or within a team or an organization. And that trait or attribute is trust. Recently, I've been listening to a lot of videos, I'm sure many of us have since we've been confined to our homes, and I've really become a student on what the most successful leaders and the most successful organizations embrace as their value systems. And one of the ones that they have embraced consistently is the notion of trust. And I think oftentimes trust becomes bantered about. People either they use that term loosely, they don't really embrace what it actually means. And so I wanted to go through about 4 different descriptions of how I look at trust and how that shows up not only within small groups, but also within larger groups and larger organizations. The first is that we trust our comrades or our colleagues to do what they say they're going to do. If we know that if they say they're going to do something that is going to get done, then it allows us to let go of those reins, let them go forth and execute as they said they're going to do. And then we can actually focus on doing what we've said we're going to do without worrying about somebody else on the team or in the organization not following through. So doing what they say they're going to do is the first attribute or telltale sign that trust is pervasive within an organization. The second value relative to trust is sharing credit. How many times have we been in a corporate arena where we have come up with some brainchild or we've come up with some really great idea and we're certainly generous and we want to share it, but then we find out not too many days later that someone has clamored onto that and taken that on as their own idea, and they're taking credit for that and they're not giving credit where credit is due. And that can erode the value system of a team or an organization so fast. So trust, when it's present, encourages people to not only share openly and generously their ideas, but we trust that people will acknowledge and give credit where credit is due, and they will certainly share credit when appropriate. Coupled with that is when we trust, there is no plagiarism. I know many times in my corporate career, I watched people labor over documents, team reports, any sort of written material or even video material back in the day. There were such things as videos back in the day. And they would work very hard on making it original content, having original thought processes, only to have someone come in, change a few words, and plagiarize everything that they've done. When trust is present, we trust that that will never happen. We trust that we will absolutely give credit where credit is due and not even glob on to someone else's original work or original contribution. The fourth is that we trust that people will have their back and that we will support them. I mean, many times in my career, I have been humbled and touched by how people on my teams, my various teams, would support one another when either a challenging situation arose in their personal life, or maybe they were outside of their comfort zone in something that they needed to present to a customer, and the team would rally and we would have each other's back and we would support them. Also, when something would go awry with a customer or even internally with a leader or a manager, the team would rally and support in defense of that person. If they knew that that person was not at fault or something happened accidentally or not intentionally, the team absolutely had their back and they supported them regardless of the consequences. And that level of trust, when it's present, that team is stronger than the sum of the parts. And that is a unique and a beautiful thing when that is present on a team. And the last thing that I will say relative to trust is that we trust our members of the team and or the organization to play full out and to always do their best. And that brings me to one of my favorite books that many of you all have heard me reference in the past, The Four Agreements by Ruiz, where one of the four agreements is to always do our best. And when we trust our colleagues and our comrades and members of our team, whether it be our immediate team or our extended team, to always do our best, that unleashes a power that is palpable. You can absolutely feel it, and it becomes an enhanced value system that is frankly very hard to dispute when it's present, and it's also very hard to ignore. And so that is the other and the final representation that trust is absolutely there on a team, when people continue to show up day in and day out, always doing their best. So with that, again, my name is Kristin Kaufman. Today, I wanted to cover what I believe is the #1 value set and or attribute of highly functioning teams and highly functioning organizations, and that is the value of trust. And I've gone through just a couple of examples of how we know that that's present. I hope that this has been a benefit to you. If you found this helpful, would love for you all to follow me on YouTube. I try to communicate on a weekly, if not a twice weekly basis, things that I think might help individuals in business and in life, and certainly to help us if we're entrepreneurs trying to build businesses. So with that, make it a great day, stay safe and stay warm.